The Certified Information Privacy Professional, CIPP, is a certification built for people who live where privacy, security, law, and business all collide. You are working in a world where personal data is everywhere, regulators are paying close attention, and organizations are trying to move fast without crossing legal lines. This narration is part of the Monday Certified feature from Bare Metal Cyber Magazine, and it is designed to give you a clear, calm walkthrough of what the CIPP really is and how it can shape your career. Think of it as a guided tour that connects legal rules to the real work you do every day.
If this certification is on your study list, a free and complete audio course is available in the Bare Metal Cyber Academy at baremetalcyber.com, complete with a study guide and a second ebook featuring 1,000 flashcard questions. At a simple level, the CIPP tells employers that you understand privacy as more than a buzzword. It shows that you can talk about obligations, rights, and rules in a way that fits how organizations actually collect, store, and share personal data. It is not a deep technical engineering certification, and it is not only for lawyers. Instead, it lives in the middle. If you are in security, IT, legal, compliance, risk, or data governance, and you keep bumping into privacy questions, this certification gives you a shared language to work with others. That shared language is a big part of why the CIPP matters.
The CIPP is issued by the International Association of Privacy Professionals, better known as the IAPP. The association is a professional body rather than a vendor, so it is not tied to a single product or platform. Its mission is to support privacy professionals, connect them with each other, and raise the overall level of privacy practice worldwide. Because of that role, the CIPP is widely seen as one of the core privacy credentials, especially in regulated industries like finance, healthcare, and technology. When a hiring manager sees it on your profile, they often read it as, "This person has taken privacy seriously."
Privacy is not the same in every region, so the CIPP is split into regional tracks, such as CIPP US and CIPP-E. Each track focuses on a specific legal environment. That structure lets you go deep on the rules that actually matter for your organization and your customers. It also sends a useful signal about your geographic focus. A candidate with CIPP-E, for example, is telling employers they have studied European data protection in detail, while someone with CIPP-US has focused on the United States privacy landscape. Over time, some professionals even pick up more than one track.
Behind the scenes, the IAPP keeps the certification current by watching how laws and enforcement evolve, then updating the exam body of knowledge. New regulations, guidance from regulators, and major cases can all shape what appears on the test. Renewal is not a one-time checkbox either. You need to earn continuing education credits to keep the certification active, which usually means training, events, or other learning activities. That ongoing learning is part of the message to employers. It says you are trying to keep up with a fast-moving field rather than relying on a one-time exam from years ago.
So, what does the CIPP exam actually test? At its core, it asks whether you understand how privacy laws and principles map onto real organizations. You are not just memorizing article numbers. You are learning how these rules affect things like marketing campaigns, vendor contracts, data analytics projects, and incident response. Many questions are short scenarios. They describe a situation, give you a little bit of context about data and actors, and then ask what a reasonable privacy professional should do. The exam is checking how you think through the problem, not just what facts you can recall.
Across the different tracks, you will see recurring themes. There are questions about basic privacy concepts, like lawful basis for processing or data minimization. There are questions about specific laws and frameworks, such as how enforcement works or what rights individuals have. You also see questions about organizational responsibilities, such as records of processing activities, vendor oversight, cross-border transfers, and breach notification. The pattern is that you are asked to spot the privacy issue quickly, identify which obligations apply, and then choose the response that is both compliant and reasonable.
That blend is what good privacy practice looks like in real life.
A lot of people come to the CIPP assuming it is a pure memorization test. They focus heavily on lists and citations, and there is some of that, but they sometimes miss the bigger picture. The exam tends to reward applied understanding more than raw recall. When you read a scenario, the key step is to anchor yourself in the core principles. Who is the controller? Who is the processor? What data is involved? And what rights or obligations are being triggered? From there, you narrow down the options. Over time, you start to see patterns in how certain types of questions are structured, and your judgment gets faster and more confident.
The CIPP is also not a purely legal exercise. Privacy and security are intertwined, and the exam reflects that. You are not configuring firewalls or tuning detection rules, but you are expected to understand how security controls support privacy goals. That includes ideas like limiting access to personal data, encrypting data in the right places, having reasonable incident response processes, and making sure vendors meet your standards. The exam will not ask you to design a full security architecture, yet it often checks whether you can explain, at a high level, how security measures help an organization meet its privacy obligations.
When you think about preparing, it helps to have a simple structure instead of a pile of disconnected resources. One way to frame it is in 4 phases. First, build a foundation in privacy concepts and the main laws for your chosen track. Second, move into applied learning, where you look at policies, notices, contracts, and internal processes and see how the rules show up there. Third, integrate what you know by working through scenario questions and talking with peers or mentors about how they would respond. Finally, do a focused review that sharpens weak spots and gets you comfortable with exam timing and pacing. That kind of plan keeps you moving without feeling scattered. Your mix of activities matters as much as the overall plan. Reading is critical, but if you only read, your brain will struggle when it faces real question wording. Build in time for practice questions at a reasonable cadence, and after each session, look at why the right answer is right and why the wrong ones are wrong. If you are already working in a privacy-related role, bring your day job into the mix by mapping exam topics to your own policies, templates, and processes. That makes details easier to remember because they are tied to actual situations you have seen. Time management is another skill you can practice before exam day. During your preparation, try to answer practice questions with the same kind of time budget you expect in the test. Get used to moving on from a question when you are stuck, flagging it in your notes, and coming back after you have gathered some wins on easier items. You can also build a simple mental checklist for scenario questions, such as identifying the actors, the jurisdiction, the type of data, and the main risk in play. When you repeat that checklist often enough, it becomes a calm, automatic way to approach each new scenario. The full audio course on the CIPP from the Bare Metal Cyber Audio Academy can support this plan without adding more pressure to your calendar. You can use short audio modules to reinforce the fundamentals during commutes, housework, or workouts. Then use your desk time for more focused tasks like note-taking and practice questions. Hearing an experienced voice talk through scenarios, analyze options, and explain trade-offs can also help you tune your own reasoning. Over a few weeks, you will find that key ideas feel more familiar because you have heard them many times in different contexts.
From a career perspective, the CIPP often marks the shift from "I help with privacy when it comes up" to "privacy is a core part of my job." Early career professionals use it to move into privacy analyst roles or to add weight to existing titles like security analyst, GRC specialist, or compliance analyst. Hiring managers in regulated industries are under pressure to show that they have capable privacy staff. Seeing the CIPP on a resume makes it easier for them to trust that you have a structured understanding of the field and that you can contribute more quickly. The certification also plays well with others. Many privacy leaders eventually combine the CIPP with program management or more technical security certifications. One common pattern is to gain the CIPP for the Legal and Principles Foundation, Then add something like a privacy management certification or a broader security credential as your responsibilities grow. If you are a technical professional today, the CIPP can be the privacy counterpart to your existing security or cloud certifications, helping you design systems that respect privacy from day one instead of bolting it on at the end.
That said, the timing has to make sense for you. If your current work is almost entirely hands-on engineering with little exposure to policy or regulation, you might get more immediate value from deepening your technical base first. The CIPP often makes the most sense at the point where you are starting to work with legal or compliance teams, or when you are being pulled into questions about cross-border data flows, vendor agreements, or new privacy laws. When you reach that point, having this certification can accelerate your shift into roles that focus more on advising, designing, and governing.
Stepping back, the CIPP is really about becoming fluent in how privacy fits into the way modern organizations run. It gives you a mental toolkit for reading new laws, evaluating how they affect your data flows, and explaining those effects to people who do not live in privacy every day. If you are serious about building a career at that intersection of law, security, and business, this certification can be an important anchor. As you prepare, remember that you do not have to do it alone. You can lean on the Bare Metal Cyber Audio Academy course as a flexible companion, using audio to keep your learning moving, even when life is busy.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.